What's going on, you guys? Keith Cards here, and welcome back to finally a new episode of Raw Cut here. Today we're talking about a conspiracy theory once again. Hopefully this one won't get removed like my last video did. If it does, you won't be watching this. But if you're watching this right now, it means we made it. We made it. We made it. Anyway, guys, today we're talking about a very interesting conspiracy theory here. You know, I'm not one for conspiracies, but I do like to discuss them, especially when you guys give me your opinions in the comments below. It's always very fun to see what you guys think happened, why you support the theory, why you don't support the theory. I think it makes for a great conversation. So I decided to go ahead and make this, and hopefully you guys can give me some feedback on what you think happened, and if you believe that there was really 3 or more shooters involved in the 1999 high school massacre at Columbine that is mainly believed to be perpetrated by only 2 shooters, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. But I'm going to read you guys some eyewitness accounts. We're going to go over them, but there's one shooter in particular that I'm kind of focusing on a little more than the others, because this one actually had a sketch made by the student who claims to have seen him, so I'll be putting that up on the screen momentarily. So let's read her statement. It says that Jennifer described the second gunman as being older, had short blonde hair like a buzz cut, was wearing a white t-shirt tight fit with no pockets, and was carrying a tan colored sawed-off shotgun. Now, when I first read this description, I was like, well, that pretty much sums up how Eric Harris looked. Some of these conspiracies, or misidentifications I should say, I think really were born out of the fact that at the beginning of the shooting, both shooters had their trench coats on, and then before they entered the actual doors to the building itself, to the high school, for whatever reason, Eric Harris removed his trench coat, and now I think a lot of people were confusing him, saying, well, they were both in trench coats, now here's a guy in a white shirt, and they were thinking they were 2 different people, when in reality it was the same person, being Eric Harris. I just think that this description right now is nothing like, ooh, about it, because it literally sounds like she's describing Eric Harris to me. She went ahead and made a composite drawing that she had done in reference to the suspect she said she saw at the high school, and provided a complete description of the subject. So here's the composite. I'll throw it up here somewhere. Jennifer describes the subject as having natural strawberry blonde hair, which, in all fairness, if you've looked at pictures of Eric Harris, once again, could coincide with his appearance. It was a buzz cut. Eric kind of had a buzz cut, stating that his face was well-defined, high cheekbones, and chiseled. I wouldn't ever call Eric's face chiseled or well-toned, but Eric was a thin person. He was not overweight, he wasn't toned, but he did have kind of a strong jaw, so I would say it could possibly also be an Eric Harris description. The party had a wide forehead and a muscular neck. He was about 5'11" to 6 feet tall, oval face, smaller upper lip, narrow nose, and small eyebrows. Now, if you've ever seen pictures of pictures of Eric standing next to Dylan, I believe Dylan was really tall. He was like 6'4". And if you've ever seen Eric standing next to Dylan, he's much shorter. I think that Eric was more around my height, about 5'10". So her saying that this person looked to be 6 feet, let's be fair, that's not really a fair thing to even judge it off of, just simply off of the fact that there was currently a shooting happening when she was witnessing this. She didn't know if she was going to survive or not. I don't really think you can take somebody that's in the middle of that craziness serious in terms of saying, well, he was 5'11" to 6 feet. I mean, they're just witnessing this person kill other people. I don't think the first thing in your head is, okay, he's 6 feet tall. I'm not saying she's wrong, I just don't think that that's very credible. So Jennifer positively identified from a photo lineup Dylan Klebold as one of the shooters. However, she said that the subject she saw was not Eric Harris, so she did not pick Eric Harris out of the photo lineup, but she did pick Dylan. She told me that the party she witnessed was about 25 to 30 years of age, so that's a lot older than the 2 shooters were, had a thick muscular neck, and a muscular build, that Eric Harris was too scrawny to be the same party she observed. Jennifer again told me that she could not positively identify the second gunman as being Eric, and believed that the second gunman she saw was somebody other than Eric Harris. So that's very interesting, just that one witness testimony saying that she observed somebody that was definitely not Eric Harris, that this person was basically this person was in very good shape, had a very big muscular neck that clearly stood out to her, and she looked at the picture of Eric Harris and said, no, Dylan Klebold was definitely involved, but Eric Harris is not, that's not the person she saw. So, now, here are some other witnesses of a third gunman, and this even goes up to a fourth, and even one witness saying that there was up to 10, which, that's ridiculous. There was not 10 shooters. 4, I think, is pushing it. 3, I can buy. So, first one was by Chris Wishner, who was a sophomore at the time. He turned to and saw 2 guys carrying shotguns and wearing black trench coats. A third guy wearing a white t-shirt and jeans was seen throwing bombs onto the roof. Now, this is an interesting individual that was observed by multiple people, had seen a third person throwing what they perceived to be bombs on top of the school. This was witnessed by multiple people, and this has always intrigued me of, like, who was this person? Were they seeing something maybe they misunderstood what they were witnessing? Was this a person that maybe knew the shooters and just decided to throw something up there for fun out of some sick joke? I don't understand really what went on there, but that's a very intriguing eyewitness. So then, Jake Apokdaka? I don't know. You'll have to forgive me. Who was a sophomore at the time, was at the soccer field, heard firecrackers, turned, and saw 2 guys carrying shotguns, wearing black trench coats and black shirts. See, black t-shirts. Now, we know that Dylan had a black t-shirt with the word wrath written in red across it. However, Eric was wearing a white t-shirt. A third guy wearing a white t-shirt and jeans was seen throwing bombs onto the roof. So that's another roof bomber witness that we've seen. Jonathan Cole, who was a freshman, noticed 2 tall guys in black trench coats. He then saw a third male wearing a white t-shirt and blue jeans. This person looked over to the other suspects and yelled, "Go, go." So this person was a third guy that was supposedly with the 2 shooters that we know, and reportedly gave them direction to go and start killing people. William Arapikills, I'm so bad at pronouncing names, you guys are going to have to forgive me on this, who was a freshman. He states that he was at the soccer field and heard firecrackers. He turned and saw 3 people near the west entrance. 2 were wearing black trench coats and carrying guns. The third was wearing a white t-shirt with no visible gun. The person in the white shirt was pacing back and forth about 5 inches away from the 2 gunmen. 5 inches or 5 feet? I'm not sure. Maybe 5 feet. So this person, this is an interesting one to me. It said this person in the white t-shirt was pacing back and forth about 5 feet away from the 2 gunmen. That's really interesting to me, because if this person did exist and they were in there, involved in it, why were they pacing? Were they just getting mentally ready for this? I don't know. I mean, it's interesting to say the least. Next one was from Anthony Samaro, who is a freshman, stated that 2 suspects came in the front door and a third came in the side door. So 2 came into the main doors while the third perpetrator came into the side door. Very interesting. Eric Sunday, who is a freshman, saw 2 gunmen downstairs near the cafeteria. He ran upstairs and saw a third in a trench coat in front of the library doors. So that's very interesting. John Curtis, who is a staff member of the school, described 3 attackers. So now I think this is where we kind of jump into the 4-shooter conspiracy. Richard, a last name I'm not even going to try to butcher, father of students Alicia and Sarah, asked the investigator what information he had obtained referencing any other participants. He talked to 2 girls who came back from the school. The girls said that they had seen 2 guys in the cafeteria wearing all black. There were also 2 other guys who entered the main door from the parking lot. One was in black and the other was in white. So once again, that white shirt shooter is being witnessed. The girls said they all had guns. So now this person's claiming to see 4 people with weapons. Alicia Mays, who is a sophomore, saw 4 people with trench coats and guns, according to Rachel Nelson. Natalie Baker, who is a freshman, told her mother that there were 2 other shooters besides Eric and Dylan. Jennifer Tyndall, who is a sophomore, sees 2 suspects, neither of which is Eric or Dylan. And I'm not even going to read the 10-shooter one because that's just ridiculous. And then the last one was John Spallinger, who was a Clement Park maintenance worker. A majority of the students he helped informed him that there had been a trenchcoat mafia gang shooting at the school and that there were 4 shooters involved. So, my opinions on this subject at hand. My opinion on this is that there was a lot of hysteria going on. There were multiple people being shot and murdered by 2 gunmen. I think that what happened with seeing a 3rd shooter with them at the beginning of the massacre was a friend or an acquaintance of Eric and Dylan recognizing who the shooters were and decided maybe they felt safe enough to go up to them. Maybe they didn't realize they were using live rounds and were trying to find out what they were doing. And when they were up there talking to Eric and Dylan, other people were seeing them from afar and were just like, oh my god, there's a 3rd shooter. I'm not saying what these people saw was wrong, but I'm thinking it was misinterpreted the wrong way, if that makes sense. It's a mystery. I really love reading about conspiracies and unexplained events that were wrapped up inside of a bigger event. The picture, I actually try to put it back up here, of the composite sketch is really an interesting one to me because the sketch does not look anything like Eric Harris, and this witness was very adamant that this person that she saw was not Eric Harris, that she was very adamant that this was a person that she did not see before the shooting. He was 25 to 30 years of age. I've even heard people witnessing a guy that they even thought was balding, so these were people that were too old to be kids at the school. It's very interesting. How I feel about it, I think a lot of these witnesses were thrown off by Eric removing his trench coat before entering the school. They saw him outside with a black trench coat, then they saw him inside without one, and the hysteria, the craziness was just so much that they were led to believe that there was a 3rd shooter, but in reality it was just a misidentification. Who knows? We may never know the truth. If there even is a bigger truth to be known. But in my opinion, I think a lot of it is hysteria. I think a lot of it's misidentification. I think a lot of it's just mass confusion by people that were thrust into a horrible event, a horrible incident where people are being massacred for no reason. That they just saw stuff that they could have sworn they saw, but maybe they didn't see what they thought they saw. They might have seen people interacting, talking with Eric and Dylan, but that might have been it. That might have been people just like, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, I mean, like, I put myself in their shoes, and if I had a friend that I saw actively killing people, and I was close enough, I would probably be like, why, man? What are you doing? Like, are you serious? Like, these people probably didn't really feel in danger because they knew these guys. So that might have been something as innocent as that, or maybe there is more to this than we know. I don't know. I want to hear you guys' thoughts in the comments below. Regardless, this is a fun video to do. I really would love to do more if you'd like to hear me talk about different subjects regarding Columbine or any other kind of thing going on, not necessarily a tragedy. Could be anything. Let me know in the comments below what else you want to see, and also, what do you think? Do you think there was a 3rd, 4th, or even 10th shooter involved in the massacre? Why or why not? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys when I see you guys. Take it easy.